Welcome back to another episode of Bob Montego. Jamaica once lived through a period of the 70s that was referred to by many economists as Jamaica's last best hope for becoming a developed country. Jamaica, as they transitioned from British colonial rule up until the 60s, the 70s became a time when we went through social reform, tried to undo the injustices of colonial rule under the British, and so the atmosphere was ripe for Jamaica to become a developed country until the all the efforts we made was scuttled by outside interference because of Cold War hostility between the United States and the Soviet Union at the time. And Jamaica happened to have been a friend of the enemy of the United States. But coming into the 70s, we had a very dynamic leader who looked around and said, hey, we cannot move this country forward if the people don't have education. And of course, in the 70s, up to 75% of adults in Jamaica were either totally illiterate or functionally literate. And functionally literate means you can count money, or you can recognize your name on a piece of paper, or there are a few individual words you can recognize but you can't read. All right, that's functional illiteracy. So what happened? In order to put us on a track for development, a fast track for development, the country underwent a program of educating its adults called Jamal. It was an adult education program designed to have some fast track policy put in place to teach people to read and write across the island. For children who were disenfranchised, lots of kids at that time would not go to high school. In fact, they would not go past what they call third grade, whatever it is. But they just would not get any kind of education. And it was very common in Jamaica not to have any education. In fact, for a while, we used to rationalize, high school spaces through what we know as common entrance exams. It was a way of dealing with the lack of school facilities for young people. And so the free education, after Jamal was instituted, the free education system came into play in the 70s. Then we had the basic schools, or what we call kindergarten schools, for children to have free education also. The government then embarked on minimum wage, so people could no longer be exploited by large companies like sugar factories and all those different companies that would exploit people that were accustomed to doing so under the British system. There was equal pay for women, and that equal pay for women, I should let you know, that equal pay for women brought women into the workforce and enriched a lot of household in terms of the additional income, because a lot of women would not work. They would work from home but not work out there in the workforce, and did not bring in an income, but instead mind the home, which is very important. But for the family to thrive, you needed income coming into the home. So a lot of people were poor. But with the equal pay for women, a lot more women went into the workforce. We also eliminated the bastard laws. A lot of people don't realize that up until the 70s, men could have children out there and declare them bastards, just not accept them as part of their marital group of children. Just declare them as bastard or not own them at all. The government at that time eliminated the bastard law, right? So everyone became lawful, as they would say. The government also seized upon land that was owned by slave owning families for hundreds of years, and who may have returned to England and have never returned to Jamaica, just have the lands there, thousands and thousands of acres of previously slave plantation lands that are just hanging around. So government found a way of taking hold of those lands because lack of taxes, lack of tax payment on them, or just stuff like that, and then created a housing scheme, large scale housing scheme around the country, the largest scale of home ownership we've ever seen in the history of Jamaica. Started in the 70s. People could now buy affordable home, very cheap homes, and then develop them afterwards. The government developed also the land lease program. Those very lands they would lease out to farmers or people wanted to do business or just different things. Lease land so people could now own property. For the first time, thousands of Jamaicans were owning property in Jamaica for the first time. It also developed the Pioneer Corps, a system where prisoners would not be allowed to sit in prisons and just consume food and public money. So if they were eligible for parole or stuff like that, they would now be placed in a program where there's a land development where they would be housed, they would be taught a skill, and be prepared to be reintroduced into society and be a productive member of society, and taught skills, lots of different skills. Lots of them. I remember them. We also saw where major development like the Mico Dam. I believe it was a Mico Dam. Yes, that was created, and lots of different huge facilities like that were developed at the time. So at that time, Jamaica was propped up and ready to become a developed country. I remember sugar 9 cents a pound, all those different things, so that's how it was back then. Today, with the development of roads, putting a lot of these plans, we had them from the 70s, with the development of roadways and different facilities, huge facilities in the country, large investments coming in, tons of investments, largely from Asia. We don't see too much from the United States anymore, but lots of it coming in from Asia. Lots of transference of technology. Lots of things that are occurring that looks like we are set now to have our next best opportunity to become a developed country. I ask every Jamaican, support our development as much as possible. If you're living abroad, invest in Jamaica. There are lots of stuff to do there. If you have land there, build houses, rent them out. Make a living off real estate. Put money in the bank. Put stuff. Do stuff. Develop. Help develop the country. Jamaica really does need it, and it does seem like we are prime. And we're primed up and ready to become a developed country, the developed country that we are. Thanks for watching Bob Montego. If you have not yet done so, please like, share, subscribe, and tell someone about my videos. Thanks again for watching.